Do you believe in visualization?
Yes.
How does it work?
Well, it works however you want it to work, but I think that, so I'm really fascinated by the science behind it. I just think it's so fascinating. And so Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches a lot of the science behind it. I'm so fascinated. So he gave this really good example of an experiment that they did. I don't know if he conducted or someone else did a long time ago, where they monitored the brain of somebody rehearsing, practicing the piano. And it was for a certain amount of hours, a couple days a week or something. And they literally would get brain scans or, I don't know the scientific term, but they studied their brain to see what happens, like what part of the brain lights up, what happens in your brain when you're rehearsing, playing the piano. And then they did the same thing, but asked him to just rehearse it in his mind. Just visualize yourself rehearsing for the same amount of time. So if it was 3 hours, spend 3 hours rehearsing playing the piano, not actually touching a piano. And what they found was the exact same part of the brain lit up. And what this was really showing them is that your brain doesn't really know the difference between something imagined or visualized and something real that's right in front of you. And they talk about when you visualize what you want happening, and you close your eyes and you really see it in detail, and you play it out like a movie in your mind, you're actually impacting the quantum field. I mean, this is like quantum physics and it's getting a little sciencey, but you're actually like impacting the quantum field around you, and it creates possibility. Like now that you envision it, it exists in real life somewhere. And he does a much better job explaining, because I'm an art brain, not a science brain. And so I kind of summarized the science that he shared, but the way that I remember it. But he said that, for example, in the morning when you wake up, if you have a thought, I have to go to the bathroom right when you wake up. And then your body goes to the bathroom. So your body physically follows the thought. So when you visualize, play out this movie in your mind of you booking a project or, getting anything that you want, your body then will follow the thought, and it will lead you to actions and things to do and, connections, people to talk to, whatever, to follow that thought, because your brain thinks it's real, doesn't know the difference. And Dr. Joe talks about, and I don't really do this enough. I'm a very visual person, so it's super easy for me to visualize, and I can kind of do it without even having to go into a deep meditation. Like I can connect to it so easily because I'm such a visual person. But Dr. Joe talks about, like, for this to work really well, it's best if you can do this in a meditative state. So if you can just close your eyes and visualize whatever it is that you want to visualize. Let's say, like, I do this great meditation visualization with my clients where, like, I might walk them through a day of them going to set, booking, on a project that they love. They get up and they get in their car and we play out the whole day. You drive to Paramount Studios, you get to your trailer, you sit in the hair and makeup, literally all the details of it and like what's around you. And Dr. Joe talks about like incorporating your 5 senses. Sense of like, how does it smell? What are you touching? So to really, make it come to life in your mind. And so he says that if you can get to a place in your meditative state, and every time I talk about this, I'm like, Erica, you need to do this more because this is so great. If you can get to a place in your meditative state where you're visualizing and you forget about, you're no longer connected to time, your body, or your environment. Meaning you're just so into this visualization that you have no idea if 5 minutes passed or 30 minutes passed, right? So you're not like super aware of time. You are not fidgeting, or touching your body. So like you're just so into it that you're not even aware of your body or itchy or, whatever we do when we're wiggling in a meditation. And then your environment, like you're not thinking about the room that you're sitting in. When you can get to a place where you're no longer aware of those 3 things, that's like the magic space where the visualization comes to life and really kind of creates in this quantum field. So I think visualization is just such an amazing tool for us to use. Like one, it just gets you excited. I think it's just good to help get you in the energy, which I can even do just talking about the specifics of my dream. I get excited, if anyone asks me about like the house I want to buy, I will go on forever and I get so excited and I can tell you all the details. That's like brings me that energy of the visualization. But so I think it's good for that sense, and like it gets you excited and it gets you connected to the possibility, which then will lead to ideas or actions or bigger risks, you know, any of the thing that good energy will lead to. And then also you're, from a scientific perspective, you know, you're essentially creating this possibility in the quantum field, and now you're expecting it to happen. And so you're doing all the things you would do if you knew it was coming.
Do you have any examples of how this creative visualization has helped some of your clients?
So one of the things that I have my clients do in addition to visualizing is to write it out. And so I have what they do, we call it a clear intentions list. And so they write like a list of what their intentions are, what they want to create. And so, I mean, this happens all the time. They get the agent or manager that matches everything on their list. You know, they create things all the time. And one of my clients actually the other day had posted in the Facebook group that she recently got a new agent that feels really great. It's a great relationship. They're bringing her high quality auditions. They understand each other. It seems like they really support her dream. You know, like all these dreamy things that people want from a rep that they often don't get. And she said, because I told her, I'm like, man, I wish we could go back to your 2 year ago self and tell that version of you like that you got this great rep and you're having this wonderful experience. And she's like, I know. She said, like, I remember one of your other clients having it happen to her a year ago and feeling like so excited for her and seeing that it was possible and really wanting that for myself. And then it happened for her. So it's not necessarily that they're going through the whole like meditation and visualization, although I think a lot of my clients are doing that naturally. But really visualizing in any kind of sense, even outside of meditation, what it is they want and then having it happen.
Do you ever see people who are unable to make positive changes in their life?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I think, you know, no judgment. Again, I think everyone's on their own path. And actually, this is something that I had to work on as a coach, to not take that on for myself and beat myself up about it. Like I didn't do a good enough job. I couldn't change them. My work couldn't help them change. You know, I've struggled with that in the past, and really had to learn, like, I give them the tools, but it's up to them what they do with it. You know, I can't make anybody do anything. So I've definitely seen that happen, but I do think that everyone's on their own path. And I think that people come around when they come around, and when they need to, when it's right for them. You know, Tony Robbins talks about how everyone moves towards pain or pleasure. So a lot of times he says, you know, people don't change until the pain becomes too great. And that's been my experience 100% as well. You know, it's like I remember when I was working on a show full time and starting my coaching business, and I really got to the point where I needed to leave the show in order for my business to take off, if that's what I wanted. Like there was only so much I could do with my business working on a TV show full time, especially TV hours, you know, working 10, 12 hour days. I knew I had to leave the job, but it took me a while to make that, you know, to actually make that leap. You know, as ambitious and driven as I am, I have my own moments of resistance, and it took me time, and it wasn't until the pain became too great where I said, what am I doing? I can't stay here. Like I have to get out. You know, something happened at work. It wasn't even a big thing, but it was just something that gave me reason to leave. And it wasn't until the pain became too great that I actually made the change. And so, yeah, so Tony says that we're moving towards pain or towards pleasure, where like there's something you want. And so you make a decision based on that because you really want it. So I think that when people, you know, aren't making positive changes in their life, maybe the pain just hasn't become too great yet, you know, and maybe that moment will happen for them in the future.